Okay, so in today's video, I figured since Valentine's Day is tomorrow that I would tell you guys the story of how Faith and I met. If you're new to this channel, Faith is my fiance. So anyways, let's get right into it. Roll the love intro. Roll it so they can see it. Go ahead. Faith and I met a very, very long time ago. I think we hung out for the first time in like 2014, if I'm not mistaken. The first place that we met was at church. We went to the same church for years, but we never really talked to each other. I can't even remember saying hi. I just remember seeing her around, and you know, she says the same thing. She remembers seeing me around, but that was pretty much it. So I'm just gonna take you guys to the place where we first met so you can see. So this is the building where I first met Faith. This is my church. I sat over here. She sat over there. We didn't talk to each other. I don't even remember saying hi to her. We found out that we both liked The Walking Dead. I can't even remember how that happened. That kind of started the friendship that we had. I used to brag about my cooking, and one day she was like, I don't think you can cook. When are you gonna invite me over so I can try some of your food? And I mean, that's where things kind of got started. This is where we first started talking about The Walking Dead, right here. This is also where she first invited herself over to my place. So yeah, we started talking about The Walking Dead with each other. It was a mutual interest that kind of brought us together. And at the time, she actually had a boyfriend. I had no idea that we would one day end up being together. I just thought it was just a cool girl that I ran into. Rick, Michonne, Carl, they're responsible for our relationship right now. After she invited herself to my place, we went and we had a good time. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me show y'all the place too. This is where me and Faith had our first unofficial date. It really wasn't a date. She just came over to have dinner with me. And right there in my apartment, she would come over and we would just spend a lot of time together. And even after she left, we would spend like an hour talking in the parking lot. I think even then we just found this connection that was kind of instant. Right here, she would park right here in this visitor spot and we would just have these long talks. In that visitor spot is where I first decided that I wanted to kiss her, but I didn't because we were just friends. I'm leaving the place right now, but let me tell y'all something else too. That was the first place where I think I got a little jealous. She started talking about a guy, and she would talk about other guys all the time. Not other guys, but just like other dates that she would go on, whether they were good or bad. It was fine at first. You know, I would give her advice. I'd be like, you know what? If he can't respect you, then you should just leave him, because he ain't nothing. It was talks like that, you know? I was always team Faith. But then it went from that, and then one day I was just like, what do you mean you went on a date with another guy? And I never said it, and I was always supportive in whatever she did, but on the inside, I didn't like the fact that she was dating. And at the time I was dating as well, but it was different, so things started to change right there in that apartment. We had a lot of really good conversations in that apartment. I remember spending a lot of time cooking a lot of meals. Oh man, I'm like reminiscing right now. I actually found like the messages back and forth on Facebook when we first were trying to like, you know, set it up to hang out with each other. This was back in July of 2014. July 2014 is the first time Faith and I started hanging out. Actually, it might have happened, I got that wrong. So in 2014 is when we first started talking, and in 2015 is when I think that's when we first hung out, because I got the messages right here. It's just crazy. I said, hey, I'm not gonna be in town this Sunday. I'll hook you up next Sunday. Is that cool? She was like, oh, lame, LOL, JK. You know, that's how girls talk. I'm just kidding. And yeah, man, I'll throw it up on the screen, but hey, man, like it's crazy when I think about how long ago that was. That was so long ago. We spent a lot of time together. We would cook together. We would go eat together. We got a lot of sushi too. For some reason, sushi has been like a big part of our relationship, even now. This is where Faith and I unofficially had our first date, and the lady in there tried to actually feed her sushi. Like, she picked up a utensil and tried to feed her sushi. It's kind of weird, but memories. And it was Valentine's Day. First Valentine's Day that we spent together. So this is Faith and I's favorite place to eat at and to get sushi at. We've eaten there as friends, as boyfriend and girlfriend, as fiancés, and we'll eat there as husband and wife. It's actually a pretty amazing place. And this is the last place that Faith and I tried out. You know, I was just like, hey, you hungry? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, well, you wanna get some sushi, bae? Get it? Sushi, bae. That was stupid. We would just do new things together all the time. And the crazy thing is, while all this was happening, we would talk to each other about other people we were interested in. So I think that we had a connection, but it was always still on the level of friendship. It was always like a platonic relationship, and we had platonic intentions. So I even recall the moment where I started to get jealous. So one day I remember her telling me about some date that she had went on, and it didn't feel right. I didn't like it. I still gave her the good friendship advice that I always gave. And I remember one day talking to my friend Jeremy about it. He told me, if you like her, man, you need to let her know, and you just need to like stop playing around. That exact same evening, I texted her. I was like, hey, me and my friend are on a job right now. We were headed to like this church to do some sound work. And I told her, hey, there's something I need to talk to you about. And I remember her saying, yeah, just come on over. It ended up being a really, really late night, and Faith does not stay up late. She goes to bed because she's an old person on the inside. I came over and I told her how I felt. And when I told her, I felt really nervous. I didn't know what she was going to say. I kind of had like a feeling that she may have liked me, but I wasn't sure. To my surprise, she was like, I like you too. I was hyped, I was excited, but that excitement was short-lived, because right after she told me that, she goes, but I don't want to rush into any relationships. I'm enjoying being single right now. Oh, all right, okay. That's cool. I mean, that's what I was gonna say too. So after that, we remained friends. We still hung out. We still talked. After a few weeks, I realized that she was still going out on dates. So of course, in my head, I'm thinking, you know what? She's just not interested in me like that. That's fine. You know, I'll be the friend zone guy. I remember thinking, I'm just gonna chill for like a couple weeks and I'm gonna move on. We had these tickets to go to a concert. We were going to a Jill Scott concert. The concert was like 3 hours away. I go to pick her up. Now, here's the thing. The night before, she had just went on a date. I mean, I was hurt, but at the same time, you have to be an adult about it. In my head, we were just gonna be friends, and that was the relationship. So this girl calls me while we're going down to the car in the elevator, and she knows it's a girl that I had like previous history with, and Faith doesn't talk to me the whole 3-hour ride because she's mad that I answered the phone for this girl. Now, of course, I'm a little confused, and at the time, I wasn't 100% sure that's why she was mad. I just remember her shutting down, and I just being like, is everything okay? Yeah, fine, okay. It's whatever. It was like really uncomfortable, but I kind of figured out what it was. We get down to the concert, 3 hours of silence. This is what it sounded like in the car. That was it. Well, I mean, I had music playing, but for dramatic effect, it sounded like that. We get to the concert, and I remember us standing. We were standing like a good maybe 3 or 4 feet apart, and we're just like arms folded looking off into the distance. And I remember being like, I can't do this. So I kind of grabbed her, I pulled her over, gave her a hug, and I was just like, look man, like what's going on? And we kind of briefly talked it out, and I remember saying, let's not worry about it, let's just have a good time. And actually that ended up being a great night. Here's a picture from that night. Don't we look cute? Ignore my hair, I was trying to grow it out and I don't know what I was doing. The Jill Scott concert was amazing, and we had the drive back. It was really late. I think this was in the middle of the week too. So we get back home and we had a long conversation. And just to make a long story short, that night she became my girlfriend officially. We made it official. Things have been great since then. I don't know what this means, but we dated hard. Like, we did everything together, ups and downs, but all in all, it was an extremely healthy relationship. And I couldn't tell you guys how happy I was. Faith was happy as well. I'm in this place where we're happy, and I'm like, you know what? She's the one. I'm gonna make her mine. So I started trying to come up with some ideas of how to propose, basically. Nothing was good enough. I didn't know what to do. And so one thing I know that Faith and I love to do is to travel and to like try new things. So I was like, why don't I just make a trip out of it? And I remember that year, which was last year, at the beginning of the year, I said, you know what? For her birthday, we're gonna go out of town and we're gonna do something epic and I'll propose. I didn't know where yet. I had been looking at different places. I looked at Napa Valley, I looked at a bunch of places. Everywhere was expensive, by the way, like super expensive. So I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Somehow, I saw a picture of Niagara Falls and I was like, Canada would be cool. And we actually had talked about going to Canada before. Canada seemed like a really, really dope place. I started looking up the information for the trip and I said, bam, that's where I'm gonna do it. So I planned to go to Canada. I started looking at rings. It took me months to find the right ring, by the way. If you're a guy and you're looking to propose to your girlfriend, take your time, find the right ring, all right? You only get to propose once. Most of us, some of us. So I get the ring, start planning out the trip, and I told her, hey, don't plan anything for these days because I'm gonna do something special for your birthday. She likes to plan ahead, so I was like, all right, look, we're going to Canada for your birthday. And around her birthday is also like the anniversary when we officially got together because that's just how it happened. Everything's set in stone. We head to Canada. If you want to see the vlog about it, I did 3 different vlogs about it. And in those vlogs is where I proposed to her. I hired a photographer, a videographer. I did all this behind the scenes work. It was a little stressful, but definitely worth it. It didn't work out exactly like I planned. There were supposed to be fireworks that night, and for some reason there were no fireworks, but I proposed right there in front of Niagara Falls, and it was amazing. This girl who just happened to go to the same church as me, this girl who happened to watch the same show as me, and we just started discussing the show together, and then we decided to watch the show together and to also start cooking dinners together. This girl is now going to be my wife. So I thought it was an amazing story, man. I just wanted to share it with you guys. Who knows what the future holds, but you guys know that whatever it is, I'm gonna vlog about it and share it with you guys because I love sharing my world with you. Anyways, guys, that's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the story, make sure you smash that like button. If you just want to stick around to see what's going to happen on Faith and I's journey, smash the subscribe button. That way you won't miss any videos, any news. Hope everybody has a wonderful Valentine's Day. Single, married, dating, engaged, whatever you may be, make the best of it, all right? I'll see you guys in the next video.